going on, everybody? I'm Josh Douglas out here on the water, and it's November. Can you believe that? Northern Minnesota. Anytime you get to go fishing in November in northern Minnesota is a feat, especially on a place like Lake Mille Lacs. The water right now, you know, is very low 40s, 41, 42 degrees. And with big winds and stuff, you just really got to be careful when you're out there. Can make it unfishable. And then you get to some of those small lakes and they're already starting to freeze up. But this year, things have been holding out. Deer hunting for me has already come and gone. We're waiting for muzzleloader season to come in a couple weeks after Thanksgiving. And we're out here fishing, and I'm stoked on it. But despite the fact that it's November and I'm out here bassing right now, this is the October what's on my deck. So most of the time, most of the stuff in November is, if you're lucky enough to be fishing, will just translate right back into what I was using in October, especially towards the end months. And I'll try to get into that as we dive in. Let's just get right at it, because I want to take every opportunity I have right now to get out there and get fishing. Perfect Ned head, Outkast tackle, perfect Ned head. I just cut a tube off because the tube got a little slow on me. I'm interchanging these right now. Matter of fact, I forgot my tube rod at home. I believe I actually only have 8 rods today instead of 9, but it'd be the exact same setup as this. Be throwing a tube. I'm going to a 4-inch tube, something a little bit bigger right now. We got the rusty crawdad. I'm moving the bait super duper slow in this low 40s water. So, you know, whether it's the tube or the Ned rig, it's how long can you let it sit there sometimes. Outkast tackle, perfect Ned head. That's the 1/4 ounce with the 2/0 hook and a 10,000 fish Sukoshi bug. And the setup's the same for the tube and the Ned rig. This is the Loomis NRX Plus 872 jigworm rod with a 4,000 Shimano Exsence 10-pound PowerPro SSV2 to an 8-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon leader. Again, same setup for the Ned rig, same setup for the tube. And if you followed this What's on My Deck series at all, you know I love the setup. Catch a lot of my fish, both largemouths, definitely smallies on this setup right here. Next up, the Swimmer. This has been doing a lot of my damage in the month of October and well into November. It's a great way to catch big fish. Some guys throw that Alabama rig. In Minnesota, you can only throw 1 hook. I'm really not much of an Alabama rig thrower. It definitely works, but I think that this bait will peg them off just as good, and in a lot of cases even better. And this is the 3/8 Outkast tackle, Goldeneye Swimmerhead with the 4/0 hook option. 3/0 sometimes if I want to size it down. This is the 3.8 Keitech swing impact fat. I believe that's the electric shad color. 12-pound, straight 12-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon, and I'm throwing it on the Loomis IMX Pro 892C jigworm rod. That's 7.5 medium, real soft. I'm dragging it through the rocks, and they're just loading up on it, and I just don't want to lose them. All the bites are real subtle right now, and you know, that's going to get bit. You got Tulip spawn coming. They're feeding up on bigger things. This is going to get the nod. And I got that paired with the Shimano Bantam. This is a 6-speed, something super slow. I'm not reeling this up in the water column. That's more of a springtime, you know, post-spawn deal. Early spring, pre-spawn, and maybe some post-spawn, but not so much this time of year for me. At the same time, if I was to fish higher up in the water column, this is what I've definitely been throwing. It was kind of more of a secret bait for people, but I mean, the Demiki is really no secret. Hover strolling, Demiking, whatever you really want to call it. This is a 3/8 ounce Goldeneye, Outkast tackle Goldeneye, same exact head I was using there. This has got the 3/0 hook in it, and I'm using that little Z-Man shad bait, a Laztec on the back of it. It's been perfect for me up here. Haven't had a ton of success here. I'm relaxed with it. It will catch you some fish, but I've been actually sneaking away and going further up there by the Canadian border where there's some awesome glacial lakes that have more bait fish, super clear water, and really trying to perfect my craft at doing that. But this would be the setup that I'm throwing. I'm using, again, that same rod, the Loomis NRX Plus 872S jigworm rod, 7.3 medium action, fast hit, strong midsection, Shimano Exsence 4,000 with, I'm using 10-pound PowerPro SSV2 to a 10-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon leader. And I'm just seeing a lot, you know, pegging around Bass Blaster a couple weeks ago. So many high name anglers starting to talk about the 4,000 size reels. There's a lot to it. If you just paired one up, a nice setup, you're gonna absolutely love it. I encourage you to do it. The Shimano Exsence 4000 is my favorite, and they're just absolutely indestructible reels with the best drags out there. So spoiled in a lot of ways that way. Hence why I'm pretty boring if I'm not using a lot of my guide rods to switch things up. I'm using the Shimano Exsence 4000. But I promised you all I was bringing the big guns for this last episode, or this last fall episode. So that's, you know, that's how I'm throwing it. That's why I pull out of the rod locker to use on it every day. A blade bait. Super excited to do this. I'll be doing this a lot here this month in November, but definitely towards the end tail of October, when the water temp starts to drop below the 50-degree mark. It just keeps getting better and better. This one right here is the Deps one. Caught some fish on it. Caught some nice ones. The hooks, I generally don't like these little 2 double hooks that are on here, but these were kind of, you know, they had the little coating on there. They came on the bait. Deps doesn't screw around. Usually everything they drop is high end, and so far I've landed a monster walleye and a couple monster smallies on it, and it's been great. I'm always looking for a good blade bait. This one's a 1/2 ounce. Like I said, it's the Deps. What do they call it? Circuit Vibe, 1/2 ounce. Awesome little bait if you can find them. Totally JDM. Get your hands on them. You can see it's all nicked up from them zebra mussels, but same setup. Yeah, I hate saying it all the time, but you know, it's just what really worked for me. And this is the Loomis NRX Plus 872S jig worm rod, Shimano Exsence 4000, 10-pound PowerPro SSV2 to a 10-pound. Actually, this is a 12-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon leader. Awesome setup. Love throwing it. Again, November, picking that up a little bit more so yet. The jerk bait, with this water temp down in the low 40s, a lot of fish are migrating out. And that's also where all the pressure is. That's where the live bait fishermen are. You know, I'm definitely running through that stuff. But on these nice, calm, sunny days, those fish pull up pretty super duper shallow, and that's where the jerk bait comes into play for me right now. I want a big profile. This is the Shimano World Diver 99 SP. It's a great little size. It's got flash boost technology, scale boost technology, and the only change I made to it is the hooks that come on them are great. I've just been racking these things into boulders and stuff up shallow and on tops of the reefs, but I put on size 5 owner STX, the green pack. I just like that. I like the hooks that kind of come back like that on slender, these style baits, and I'm ripping this bait as hard. I want a strong bait that can a strong hook that can keep them hooked up. I'm using straight 12-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon. I'd maybe use 10 sometimes, but honestly, I like it this time of year with all the wind, that 12, and I am ripping it against rocks and hitting bottom and all that, so I don't want to, anything I can get to help with the zebra mussels, I'm all in on. I'm using a Loomis NRX Plus 842C MBR rod, great little jerkbait rod, and the Shimano Antares. Got that click drag. I talk about it a lot. I like it on a jerkbait. Loads up, he starts to tug on it, and I can just tell how big they are. They're not getting off. When you change out to these little owner STXs, you got the click dragger on the Antares and a nice soft NRX Plus. It's a setup you can throw all day, and also one you're just going to land those bites and get them in. But remember, late fall, early winter, you get those sunny days, those fish want to come up. That water temp's cold now. They want to come up and feel that sun and warm up, and it's just a great place to get right in the middle of the day, the warmest part of the day. Just a few more. This one's kind of fun. This is more into October, into November. It's a Jackal Derrick Hoop, a 1 ounce. Just a little blade bait, heavy blade bait. You can throw it out there in that deep water, even shallow. I'm banging it off rocks, banging it along the bottom. It gets hung, but it pops off pretty good, especially with a pretty, decent rod. This one's actually phenomenal for it. It's a Loomis NRX Plus 903C MBR rod. It's soft. It's a 7.6 medium to medium heavy rod with a nice slow taper, a fast action, and I'm throwing a Shimano Corrado K200. I'd probably rather be throwing the MGL if I had my hands on them, but either which way, I want that 200 size spool because I'm making a big long cast. It's a 1 ounce bait, and just kind of yo-yoing it on the bottom, reeling it real slow, banging it off the rocks, and I want that soft 903 to kind of let them load up and get on the bait. And then I'm using straight 16-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon Flourocarbon was just perfect for that size. I can kind of keep it down there and at the same time make those big long casts. So the Jackal Deracoop, 1 ounce, super duper fun way to catch some smallies this time of the year. 2 more to go. Oh, we got another blade bait, and why I got this blade bait, 1, it's a 3/8 ounce, the other was a half, and 2, this is my bread and butter. This is the one I usually always throw and have some success, but like always, I refuse to believe that I always have the best going, so I like to keep new things going. That Deps, and honestly, the Deps has been outshining the BioVex today, but this is the BioVex Paddis, 3/8 ounce. You can tell it's just chewed up. My hooks are beat up. I got little number 8 STXs on there, the green pack STXs. Like I said, this BioVex Paddis. I got a 10-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon leader, 10-pound PowerPro SSV2, and I'm using again the 872 Jigworm rod NRX Plus. This is, you know, big boy fishing out here. This is big time stuff. It's not a lot of finesse. These fish are in big schools. They're super big, and I'm power fishing for them. So I'm using a lot of the 872 in their face, a little bit heavier stuff. Exsence, Shimano Exsence 4000, and that's the setup. So I do like to have the 3/8 ounce and the 1/2 ounce blade bait this time of year and back into the end of October. Here we go, a jig. You gotta have a jig this time of year, and I switch it up a little bit. You know, I don't even know who makes this. Technically, I got some old Lake Fork tackle packs of them, but it's just like a craw profile. Water's getting cold. You know, on a jig, I don't want something that has a whole bunch of, even though I think you could still get away with it in the low 40s, I was expecting it to be in the high 30s when I got out here, and you know, this type of deal just gets bit. It looks like a crawdad. It's a big 3/4 ounce Outkast tackle football jig. Gamakatsu hook on it. It's nice. You know, I use owner for all my hooks, but when it comes to jigs that I'm running, if it doesn't say owner, it better say Gamakatsu, and that's just what you get with these jigs. Sticks them a long way because I'm using straight 16-pound Shimano Mastiff Flourocarbon, and that Outkast jig rolls nicely. I can hit them from a long way out, and I'm throwing the Loomis NRX Plus 873C Carolina rig rod. I talk about it a lot. This is the finest of the dragging rods on the market for something to drag on the bottom. It just absolutely, it catches them, it sticks them good, and it gets them in the boat. I'm throwing a Shimano Metanium. Why not? It's the best out there. It's what you should be throwing if you got it. It's what I absolutely love, especially on a jig rod, and I'm throwing the XG. Every now and then I'll switch this out too for a 200 MGL spool, just if I'm making super long, big casts. But this time of year, you know, I'm still targeting high percentage areas and just kind of letting my jig sit in there like it's my Ned rig. But that is what's on my deck. October 2023. It won't be till 2024 before you hear from me again on these. I got some good ideas coming for the next couple months to get us through Think Electronics, and I definitely know that you'll all tune in when I do drop them. So thank you. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna keep this stuff coming now more than ever. Bree behind the camera, she's rocking it, and we are going to keep content coming on the regular, so stay tuned to Josh Douglas Fishing. Tight lines.